pick phase more so than the ban phase.
Well, we see the Aurelia being banned out already, both Going and Soaz finding the one win the teams have on those top lane, on that top lane champion. Lee Sin being taken out as well. That was banned by Fnatic in the first time these guys played, but being on the red side, that's in OMG's hands to ban out. Still waiting, a little bit slower here, as OMG figures out what they want for their second and final ban.
Feel like that's an interesting choice from OMG's side. I mean, Fnatic and Cyanide in particular on Lee Sin, he's not been impressive on Lee Sin all season. Played 4 games of it, 1 for 3, like, just not been all that good on Lee Sin. So for me, that is a questionable ban from OMG's side.
There's a chance it's a throwaway ban, too. We actually saw a blue side team not ban yesterday because they didn't necessarily want to decide what to ban. And here, Fnatic throws their third ban. OMG, they let the timer run out for their loss of ban. We'll see what they throw in as their final ban, or if they even decide to ban something here. Fnatic did ban the Zillion, which is a little surprising, and it would open up OMG to ban Alistar and have a fairly normal ban phase.
I do think that's a surprising Zillion ban as well. Cool kind of went off on that. It's something you could probably control and not give him that 7-0-4 game, but it will be an Alistar as a final ban. Soaz has been seeing that come in, and I think every team's been seeing that coming against their top laners throughout Worlds.
Yeah, Alistar's actually the only champion who was 100% picked or banned in every single game so far at Worlds.
Well, that trend continues here, and Fnatic with first pick. What are they going to go for? Maokai, for example, has managed to sneak through the banning phase here.
Yeah.
Yesterday's game, you know, Lulu top lane, we've already heard that people not too convinced with that, but it will actually be Rumble locked in for Soaz.
So, first off, Maokai's not much of a Soaz champion. So when he went through the pick and ban phase, I thought maybe that's a little dangerous. However, a lot of teams have been baiting Maokai picks in order to play Rumble. It has had mixed results. The 2 Rumbles we saw at the end of yesterday were a combined 0 and 15 on the scoreboard, so it's definitely counterable in the early game if the lane is heavily focused by the opponent. And I wonder if OMG is going to try and pick a composition that can do that. Thresh is pretty big for Dada 777.
Also pushing Cyanide onto Elise, or Jarvan most likely in this one. Didn't have too good of a Jarvan game to start off the Worlds here for Fnatic's team, so we'll see what he can feel comfortable on as the Kha'Zix and the Thresh are locked in.
While I don't disagree with the Rumble pick on Fnatic, I wonder how much value they were getting out of being on the blue side there. You look at Rumble, who hasn't really been first picked at all, versus Thresh, who LMQ was willing to throw a first pick on against OMG to much success. If you look at Dada's champion pool on OMG, it's Thresh, and then a bunch of stuff he doesn't seem very good at. So giving that away, in a sense, to let OMG pick it, I feel like is a bit of a flub by Fnatic.
Well, we are going to see Fnatic here locking in Nami. Will be the second showing for Yellow Star on Nami. Of course, recorded a lot on it in their previous game. Kog'Maw also coming out then for Reckless. That's actually a new champion for him at the World Championships. Played a couple of games on Lucian and 1 on Tristana so far. We'll see what he can do here on Kog'Maw.
Keeping it diverse. It's usually the Trist or the Kog'Maw for Sand, so you're grabbing one of those, maybe the Trist for him. They like to go to that late game fight.
And I really wonder if they're going to continue to try and go for that late game fight, because so much of the success we saw yesterday from teams was abusing mid-game power spikes before teams could make it to the late game. They already have the Rise in there. Their AD carry choice will really define whether they go mid-game. Corki or Lucian would mean a little bit more mid-game for them.
Well, it will be Lucian there, locked in for Sun. See exactly what he can do with that. Again, a new pick for him, playing Tristana Kog'Maw so far. We also see the Rise locked in as well. So that's a new feature on this OMG team for Fnatic. They seem to be right on plan here. We'll see Elise come into the jungle with Cyanide, and Peke is going to show us what he's got on Syndra.
Definitely more decisiveness from Fnatic into the pick and ban phase. The only game they've actually won so far at group stage was with Cyanide on that Elise. They have a ton of pick potential, both Syndra stuns and Elise cocoons, which can be followed up with Nami bubbles. So it can still be that Fnatic playstyle, but this time with a little bit more teamfight oomph. The only problem is they're very heavy into magic damage if OMG is able to stack some of that.
I was speaking a little bit with Reckless as we were getting painted up with makeup in the room earlier.
And you look beautiful, by the way, Rick.
Thank you so much. I love the eyebrows. As I was saying, they said, a lot of people said, the Zed, the Kog'Maw, you're unsafe. He said, I get to the Quicksilver Sash as fast as possible, and the team realizes that we don't fight until then.
And the question will be whether that becomes a problem or not. I mean, Reckless was off split pushing one of the games.
Right.
Fnatic got dove by LMQ very quickly. Obviously, they've constructed this team composition in a little bit different of a way. If they are dove a little bit early, Rumble is incredibly hard to dive against, so they are a little bit more well prepared for such a situation. But man, I wonder if Fnatic can get the mid game together here.
Going to be such an important clash for both of these teams. Both of them sat, of course, in the table at 1 win and 2 losses. Samsung Blue and LMQ just above them on 2-1. So you really have to win this game if you're looking to come out of the groups. And, well, it's kind of all or nothing at this stage. You've got nothing to lose.
We almost don't know what's going to come from Fnatic, right? Taking down Samsung Blue, losing to other teams. It's been so topsy-turvy coming into this world. Anything can happen, and that's as always.
It is the group of anything happening, obviously. Fnatic
group of life.
beat the
Box of chocolates.
Beat the best team. This group is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I have to give Crumbs definite credit for that one. Pretty incredible analysis of how this group goes. But guys, now that the champions are locked in, which team do you guys think are going to win? Tweet at LOL Esports using hashtag FNC win or OMG win, and we'll see who your support has gone to once we get into the game. Fnatic, of course, as pretty much ever, I think through the entire year they've had the fan vote on their side, but this is the game where they really need to rally. They have to win.
Well, the mid game is the game we're talking about. Mid lanes and mid games, but mid game controlled quite well. Yellow Star throwing down pink boards all over the place. Right now, the highest one to lay those down. We'll see if the Vision continues to control the game for Fnatic here. If OMG starts to go hard out of the gate, we are on to the Rift. We're going to see what we get in here in the lane matchups.
Yeah, the Vision will be such an important battle for Fnatic with the Syndra and Elise trying to find catches and avoid the aggressive dives that OMG has been able to execute in the past. Obviously, a lane swap is very possible as well. Soaz needs to be able to get early levels more so than anything. The Rumbles we saw get shut down yesterday took an exceedingly long time to hit level 5, which is when Rumble can start kind of bending for himself with some ranks and Flame Spitter. Can't wait to see the first 7 minutes or so of this game. It will decide a lot.
And I feel bad for these Rumbles, at least in the last 2 games of the day. They've turned into the Mundo dive. If you can get them before 5, just keep diving. Keep diving. Has a pretty rough escape. It looks like they're trying to switch up the lanes here just a little bit to see an early advantage, but OMG is going to get right under the skin of Fnatic with some deep wards to start this one off. They get all the vision that they want on Blues to keep track of Cyanide.
Yeah, wards down. We actually saw a little bit of this yesterday, but was generally not followed up on. This time around, OMG actually still sitting there in that curved brush. So we'll see if they actually move away. There is, of course, that ward in the death brush from Fnatic, so they can see that OMG have gone in there. And we'll also see that, maybe more importantly, OMG have not, up until now, actually moved.
Until they see OMG leave the brush, which is right now with Cool, they could have surmised that maybe they recalled. It's a little bit unlucky that Cool took that path back. Now we can see basically all of OMG's plans, and Fnatic will get to react to them. They're not swapping back up to meet the 80 carries. We're going to either see a lane freeze, which is what he's trying to pull off right here, or a fast push. I wonder if Fnatic will go for that. And I wonder also how the top laners are expecting to get experience. At the moment, they're doing the double jungle.
You can see pulling in San, kind of controlling the minions there so they can lock it up as much as possible. And the jungling to begin. Looks like they're going to go right through this ward. So Vision privy over to the side of OMG that they're getting invaded as they thought they would. It's really about the first move. Who can trick each other? Because in the beginning of these games, everybody knows what each other is doing. It's who can really go outside the box and make the first move.
And I actually kind of like what Fnatic was doing there, taking the Wolf before the blue buff, because specifically since they're doing a buff trade, the later they take the enemy's buff, the more they're going to deny it later in the game. OMG obviously took and fully cleared Fnatic's blue buff about a full minute ago, and the respawn is going to be desynced now.
So, Reckless and San both getting free lanes up until now. Dada just waiting up on that top side. Yellow Star in lane as well. As he going joining Lovely. And of course, Soaz will be with Cyanide as well. Gonna be 4 men coming down towards this bottom lane.
And here's the main difference. Fnatic did not freeze the bottom lane. OMG did freeze the top lane. So Fnatic is forced into the fast push / dragon take style of play right now. And they're just gonna go straight for the dragon. This is a calculated trade.
That ward really paid off. Seeing that invade and now seeing the fact that dragon will be done here at 3:30 in. The timer will be had and maybe even more vision from Loveling as he tries to make his way in. This is gonna be solo and he's walking right over a ward. A good bubble could really make
if
his
this stops
day
them
bad.
from doing the dragon, it's fantastic. Fnatic delayed on that, and OMG was able to rotate down their bottom lane for a swap. That's a big win for OMG because they get the solo lane experience for their AD carry, and they do not lose out on the global gold. So big time wins, especially since the turret didn't go down in that lane either.
That's basically all you need to do at this level. Put a ward down there so that they know that they're spotted, and usually that's enough to just force these teams away from going for that early dragon where they're losing a lot of health and having to juggle the aggro between them. And when we're talking about juggling, Peke doing well so far here in this mid lane, throwing his stuns out, which didn't quite connect onto Cool that last time around, but interesting to see how Peke does here with this Syndra. Now, of course, Cool does on Zed. Cool, for me, not being as impressive as we'd have maybe hoped for him to be so far. There's always time, though. We still have 3 games to play.
And yesterday, in the game they did win, his Zillion was spectacular.
That
basically took over the game. He killed Peke 1v1, and then he punished Soaz in the top lane. Zed versus Syndra, everybody has trouble against a good Syndra. So Peke, we'll see if he can punish Cool here.
See how well he comes out of this one. We've seen Cool get his Yasuo and whatnot, and still be taken down. Seems like he could be a little bit flustered in mid if he's not getting that help from Loveling. And right now, obviously taking the lane bully of Peke. This puts it 40-26 in CS in that lane. Not going to need too much help from Cyanide there, so hopefully he can focus in other places. Top lane is now to match up here. Going level 4. Soa has his 2, so he's happy to sit here and farm under the turret for now.
Easy peasy, really, for Soaz. Once that lane is pushed up, go and just trying to do a little bit of damage to him underneath the tower as Cyanide was spotted coming down bottom as well. Force going actually to recall. Already he's got that tier stacking up, so he's not going to be too worried about that.
I do have to point out, though, that Fnatic lost this lane swap. Soaz is behind in experience by going, and San is ahead of experience to Reckless. Just the failed dragon attempt, even though it doesn't show in the gold, definitely shows in experience, and it gives OMG advantages in the side lanes. If they can get a gank off in the mid lane, it would pull an advantage there, but a level 6 Peke will make things pretty dicey.
A little bit of chaos can cause a lot if you're pulling the opposing team out of lanes. Peke here hitting 6, as he said. Whoa, nice lantern just off on the side. Dot out to save San from too much trouble with level 5 to a 3 and a 4, especially with that Lucian damage. They could easily start to trade a little bit. Loveling here, looks like he may help and offer a bit of that assistance.
Actually spotted coming to that top side, so Fnatic aware that that was all going on. This mid lane, though, is the shining light for them so far. Cheeky from Yellowstar will just stop San recalling. But that mid lane, the shining light for them. Peke 54-39 CS up. Not being back to buy just yet, but actually waiting quite a while, and the presence of Yellowstar enough to actually stop San from going back.
At this point, it's a wave and a half that San could potentially lose to his turret, so Yellowstar stopping him those few times will definitely maintain an edge in this lane for Fnatic. It's really a nice play there by Yellowstar, just taking the risk to walk up that far, because they were down in experience in that lane. Now they can potentially pull a bit of an item advantage with better back timings.
Have to pay attention to just how strong the play is of San, of Cool, getting very emotional in the losses on the first day. Have to keep their mind in the game and really keep playing strong. San easily one of the carriers along with Cool coming in for OMG.
So Hex Drinker was the first item here for Cool. Obviously not really a surprise going up against that big AP threat of Peke in the mid lane, who incidentally himself not been back as of yet, still sat on that single Doran's ring. Obviously limits what he can do right now, but when he does go back, I'd imagine he's sat on a decent chunk of gold at this point. I think got his blue buff as well, so maybe thinking, do I really want to go home? Actually, there is Cool going to dive in onto him. Peke has the death mark on.
Very close to going down. And OMG, like you said, Jat, they are 6s across the border, at least higher level right now, and really taking this laning phase to Fnatic.
One of the big reasons that Cool was able to go aggressive there was because of the support roam from Dada. His Thresh definitely showing a lot of presence, but they do not actually gain that much from it. Peke needed to go back to base anyway. He would have liked to delay a bit longer for his team's Unholy Grail, but now, again, roaming Dada 7.
Very close to getting hit up. Yellowstar giving himself a quick spell. That movement speed passive from Nami gets him to safety. He gets out swimmingly. So 9 minutes on the board, still no kills to come in here, and just a slight gold lead due to the CS back and forth for now. Sen and Dada happy to push this one up to the turret, keep the harass going.
So we mentioned in Champion Select that both of these teams actually have fairly strong mid games, which will make it even more important that they can capitalize when they get a power jump in items. At the moment, San was able to go back and get his BF sword, so he needs to punish this Reckless lane before Reckless can go back and finish some of his components. Phage and Trinity Force will generally be when Reckless jumps ahead of San a little bit. The same thing goes kind of across the board. If Go-Going can complete his Rod of Ages, that's a big jump. If Soaz can complete Magic Penetration, that's a big jump for him. We have to track those things and see if the teams act on them, because Fnatic has struggled with that a little bit in their defeats.
Soaz as well, struggling a tad. 0-2 on his Lulu. Outspoken about those AP champions in the top lane. And even with a loss on Aurelia in the regular season, he showed very well on it. A lot of people have here at Worlds. This time on to Rumble, down 20 CS. Can he still make an impact? The ults are going to have to hit in the fights with the way he's down right now.
Peke a mile off there with that stunt. Let's see if Fnatic can actually open anything up here. Loveling is already waiting in the side brush on that mid lane in case Fnatic do come around. There is a pink ward cleared out, so maybe OMG will be left somewhat guessing in this mid lane. There is a stun coming in, but you see Loveling stuck around long enough. They're actually going to dive towards Peke. Deathmark is down. Peke's not going to survive this one, but he does get the kill on the way out and gets the first blood even.
He just barely fell prey to that one, and Soaz teleports down. Equalizer doesn't quite get it. Let's see if they make use of that teleport more than just a one-for-one trade, though.
Still the pressure on the mid lane. Cools grabbing double buffs off of that one. Soaz does come down. He overheats on the harpoon shot, not leaving him in a safe situation. That means Scrap Shield can't be used. A bit of a mistake there as Soaz tries to put the team on his back for a quick second. He is forced to go right back to Yellowstar and Cyanide for safety.
Yes.
Very key there. That
able
to get
no
it.
way.
Soaz.
Honk landing from Dada, and there comes Cooling with the lantern, and Soaz. You see him on the player cam in that bottom left-hand side and just shaking his head. Like, literally, the teleport was too slow for him.
Yeah.
Gets caught out of position, was possibly looking not to go down after the first hook lands on him and Cool had to go. And then he's trying to recall in an area where he's just going to go down. And now OMG not only getting the kill, they're going to get the dragon as well.
Yeah, even if they wanted to contest this, Go-Going could just teleport down and rise and force an uneven fight. Let's just take stock of everything that OMG gained there, despite Fnatic basically throwing the kitchen sink at them. It was a counter gank to the Zed ultimate when they showed up with Yellowstar and Cyanide. A, they didn't prevent the kill. B, they still burned exhaust. C, they burned the teleport. And D, Zed got 2 kills and didn't even die once he came back from base, plus the dragon. Everything there went OMG's way.
Very different from Soaz coming in with these plays, that backing in somebody's jungle. Not very respectful. Thinking that there were 3 of his wards around doesn't mean that there isn't one from OMG. And that is big plays for Cool in the mid lane. I guess it doesn't matter if he's on that Zillion or now he gets that Zed. He is doing work with the help of the jungle and the help of the Roman Dada. Fnatic now trying to answer with a bit of their own, and it's going to be a teleport coming in from Go-Going. Will he be able to activate? He flashes over it. Yellowstar's going to be hit. The tidal wave does come out, but OMG just surfs over it, and they're going to keep this one going. Loveling, can he get in? He does go for the flash. Go-Going's auto is going to get that one and secure the kill, and OMG starts their rampage.
All 5 members of OMG in the bottom lane, Fnatic trying desperately to keep up with the speed of OMG's collapses. Thus far, they have been unsuccessful, so I was trying to take a turn in the top lane.
Yeah, that's their answer to this one. You see the effectiveness of GoGoing's teleport compared to what SOAS ended up doing there in that mid lane, and should be giving OMG that tower on the bottom side. It will be that tower going down. Top lane, not sure if SOAS has really got that one low enough, and we can already see that OMG have started to move in, have a good deep line of wards inside of Fnatic's jungle. And Cool is hurting with that Cutlass in there on top of the Hex Drinker.
And this will be a big test of these teams' mental fortitude if the first 2 days weren't a big enough test already. Considering OMG's story coming in here, they started the group 0-2. To be able to come out of that, potentially win their next 2 games, would just require an immense amount of mental strength. You take Fnatic as well, having to beat Blue to come out of their slump as well after losing on the first day. It's just so hard for these guys to every single game have to show up knowing that a loss could eliminate you from the group.
Both of the teams much more improved than on the first day, but the question is, when it comes down to it, who improved more? So far, it's OMG as they start off the game 3-1. Peke able to get his blue. They can keep that to him. It'll be very good. Cool's, he's going to be receiving it, but not a necessity.
And this is where Cool now may start to shine, headed off onto those side lanes. Actually, Lovely going to come around, try and steal away the red buff, and tries becomes a lot easier when you've got that smite available. Takes that one down. Meanwhile, SOAS forced to use his ultimate in the top lane to get rid of that minion wave. And Fnatic slowly but surely seem to be falling to pieces.
And we were talking about those mid-game power spikes. There's a Rod of Ages completed. The BF sword almost an Infinity Edge onto Sand. Fnatic trying to group to make up for it, but they just strictly don't have the spells right now. Dada gets caught way out of position.
Nicely done. The calling coming across from Sand. He has not finished the Infinity Edge, but he's still able to put out big damage with all the pieces on it. Cool's trying to keep this one going. Yellow Star with the double bubble to keep this one a bit disengaged, as only one was lost on each side, but that's Reckless down.
He just got evaporated by the OMG team. Sand, though, gets real aggressive. The fact that OMG actually trades 1-for-1 despite Dada dying before the fight even began shows how far ahead they actually were there, and it's actually a pretty good trade for Fnatic at the end of the day.
And we talk about it being a mid-game centric group pretty much everywhere. They have the items right now. They're spiking, and they're perfectly creating these fights for themselves.
Infinity Edge will be in for Sun in just a little while. Got all 3 parts of that one. On the other side, though, for Reckless, after that death there, Sheen and Zeal in there, Mage still to come, and the rest of that Trinity Force going to be lacking a little bit behind. Fnatic, though, actually pushing back here, and they may have got this turret.
If you first fail, try again. However, they lost their minion wave. OMG is pushing the side wave. They are investing a lot to try and get this one, and they could not even finish it due to the fear of the OMG collapse. Tanking that turret without minions and without a real tank on the Fnatic team is pretty dangerous.
And Cool, I think, fancies this one. I mean, Peke at half HP. SOAS was tanking the turret there. No one was hitting the turret. All a little bit disjointed here so far from Fnatic. Definitely need to basically forget their problems, I think, and get their head into the game, because so far not been making the plays that they need to. There's to stand a chance of coming out of this. What is, I mean, I'll give the respect to that. This is a ridiculous group of Worlds, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, very, very hard to call. There is a hook from Dada. The turret already being pushed. A culling being used straight away by San will actually force Fnatic back somewhat, but the minion wave's already gone.
The combination of power that OMG has on their team right now with the evolved W from Loveling to poke in and just create setup for Rise and Zed to obliterate a fight seems like it's a little too much for Fnatic to deal with. We talked about Rumble and how he was going to need to secure experience in the early and mid game. SOAS has been shut down, level 8 to level 10 of Rise, and he is a non-factor at the moment. They just get completely sieged out by OMG.
Sieged out indeed, and now everybody trying to share experience throughout these lanes. As I said, Reckless earlier said, if we're against Zed, I'm going to get a Quicksilver Sash. Well, you are so far away from that right now, and OMG is right on the front doorstep. Oh no! A pie to the face of Reckless as Cyanide dodges out on that one, and it looks like he will be getting popped by the death mark. He goes down to Cathian Surprise, could finish going, but he flashes over the wall. Sound with a beautiful relentless pursuit to save himself as well.
OMG sat on that equalizer and got flanked very well by Fnatic. They're desperately trying to get away because that gank actually actually went pear-shaped.
Double slow for Soaz, and he's going to finish off with a flame spinner. Meanwhile, Peke chasing Cool, lands the stun. He's in the bush. Oh, he's juking round, but well, I got excited about that one. Peke able to finish off plenty of HP, and just like that, Fnatic bring the kills back even. Let's see what they can do with it.
That was sneakily reminiscent of Fnatic's fight in the semifinals against Royal Club when they came back in one of those games where everyone was hit around the side. They get initiated on because OMG thinks they have a good fight, and then Soaz and the rest of Fnatic Cavalry come down and just decide to wreck the fight. Whether or not that gives them a window to take the Dragon or not will kind of decide if they pulled even in this game or not.
That is definitely something to remember, that these teams finished a lot farther than they're putting up. The performances will show this year. Fnatic definitely wants to get out of the groups. OMG are fighting for their lives as well.
You're absolutely right, Riv. After these teams' performances last year, falling out in group stage would be a monumental failure, especially for OMG. When you look at the LPL region, the other two LPL teams are already in the quarterfinals. If they don't make it, they are essentially the black sheep of the LPL scene.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure coming from that.
Oh, Cocoon lands onto San. The stun from Peke will be chained on as well, but not a follow-up there. And Fnatic, you can see, despite having the control on this bottom side of the river, have been very, very hesitant in starting off the Dragon. They know there's only a couple of thousand gold separating the two, and here comes the hook. Oh, it was so close to landing onto Cyanide, just wide from Dada.
These teams don't necessarily want to start Dragon. If a team does start Dragon, it would be OMG because they have much better fight peel. Fnatic doesn't really want to deal with Ryze right now, especially if they have to funnel in a line. If Fnatic is to win this fight, it would be about a tremendous equalizer. That one is okay.
An equalizer they can't really follow up on. It's going, able to just use his ult and really get out of that. Cyanide is the focus, forced to repel in defense again, but he's just going to go down the itsy-bitsy spider. Goes down the spout indeed. Oh, Yellow Star on the edge. Gets hooked by the tail. Peke trying to do what he can. Is able to drop cool on this one, but I don't think the team can answer. This is a dangerous spot for him to be in right now.
And just like that, Fnatic being jumped on here. San is actually low. Peke coming back into the fight. Big stun onto Dada. Reckless will actually pick it up with the accompanying surprise. And Peke, you know what? He's still fairly healthy here. If he can get into the right position without catching a hook, without being room prison, I think wisely here, OMG decide to back away.
Peke was trying to flank that entire fight and could just never land quite the right stun. It was a very push and pull fight. OMG was able to collapse as a team a little bit quicker and find the right things. The equalizer actually took Sun and Dada pretty low, except Peke, if you can see around the back, was never quite there, and Ryze and Zed did enough damage to just charge straight into Fnatic. It was a really testy, disengagey fight here. Some nice bubbles, some nice skill shots, really what ends up securing kills, and some really clutch shields. That ultimate from Cool actually kind of prevented San from dying earlier in that fight. Peke could have killed both of them if he played his cards a little better.
So flash from Lovely in there as well. Obviously, meant that Reckless had the bit of extra power that he needed to finish off San.
So we see 3 brutalizers quickly finished up. OMG continuing to just put damage within their builds to keep these fights going and keep their strength up. Peke, around the sides of these fights, and now as his Zanyas, he's kind of at a 3-1-3, been a little hidden in getting his score. So if he can stay out of the focus zone and the attention of OMG, he might be able to clean up these fights for the team.
Yeah, you can see Fnatic still has a lot of fight power in these. However, they have to make their comeback, in my opinion, before Dada finishes his Aegis or his Locket at this point. Because Fnatic's team, top to bottom, even Kog'Maw, the AD carry, does a large amount of magic damage. And as soon as Dada finishes that Aegis, everyone else on the team will get 20 magic resistance, which is actually a pretty substantial amount of percentage defense against magic damage from Fnatic. And I think once that happens, if OMG still has a lead, the team fights become substantially easier for OMG.
The composition that Fnatic have just make it very easy to itemize defensively. See the Hex Drinkers in there as well already for both Lovely and Cool. Fnatic here just trying to get a bit of vision back on their side of the jungle as Peke saw already that Cool was around there somewhere and guessed right as he throws the column over into that brush. If you look down the farm at this stage, just to kind of touch on that one, there's a massive difference if you look at the top laners. Soaz 97 CSGO going 164 plus 303 on the scoreboard as well. I mean, going is getting to the scary stage really quickly.
And if you look at the gold disparity, that's pretty much where it all lies. Between them and the jungler, mid lane, AD carry, and supports are all pretty comparable as far as power goes. So in a perfect world, Soaz could kind of trade himself for going, and Fnatic could fight 4v4. But Rumble isn't exactly a split-pushing threat, so he has to team fight. Unfortunately, that draws in the most farm member of the OMG team.
We also have to remember Cool, he gets big as well. They can put this into the 1-3-1 and really start to spread Fnatic thin. They have a good siege stop here. Obviously, they can clear the waves as it grabs to the turret. Reckless and Peke able to stop that up, but it only can last so long. OMG will go under the turret, whether it's full health or not, and they will continue to get these fights. They still have a 3,000 gold lead with what's been going on. The Dragon up in 2 minutes, and that side of the map is quite dark. So I might see a little bit of focus start coming to that.
So both AD carries actually just recalling out of lane, which means a finished Ghost Blade on one side, and almost the Blade of the Ruin King done for Reckless as well. Should have it the next time that he does go home. But for now, Lucian going to be feeling strong about this one. The Blade of the Ruin King done for Zed. Of course, Rise has been stacking up that Rod of Ages on his tier for quite a while now. Going. A lot of people were, I think, relying on going to do so well for this team, and so far here today, definitely delivering when it really matters. Cool himself also at 4-2-2 on that Zed, but we start to see it get a little bit more difficult for him as things go on. You know, Quicksilver Sash will come out for Reckless to get rid of the Death Mark. The Zhonya's Hourglass already done for Peke to, well, at least try if he gets the timing right to dodge the damage of it.
Seeing the builds coming out from Loveling and Cool as well, those Hex Drinkers hopefully stopping that front end burst of Peke that would nearly zero them out. This could be that time it happens. Again, dodging out on the ultimate. He's gonna go ahead and pop his Zhonya's though. Nice time for the Deathmark.
Just a couple mid laners playing the matchup properly there, dodging each other's ultimates with various different mechanics. Fnatic, I think, gets the edge off that one. You can see Cool has to go back away. As you mentioned earlier, Rip, the vision control is in Fnatic's favor. They have placed tons of wards this group stage. Also, Yellow Star has been a ward killing machine, killing a ward on average every 2 minutes, which is pretty remarkable. Gets another one there, and Fnatic is trying to set up this Dragon. Even though Soaz has been behind the whole game, the fact that he has hit level 11 right now is massive, getting the second rank into Equalizing. If he can land a good one, Fnatic still has a chance, as Aegis has yet to be completed by OMG.
So this is where I'm interested in how decisive Fnatic are on the Dragon area. See that they've got vision down already, thanks mostly to Yellow Star, who's been in there, got that pink outside of the pit, but they're still a little bit cautious of how OMG are going to play this one. Loveling just using his upgraded Void Spikes there to poke away as much as he possibly can. The pink ward comes down, and Dada gonna step forward. Nice little lantern just to get vision of the Death Brush as well. Will reveal that pink ward has been placed. So Fnatic, while they have positioning, OMG are just on the border of the river.
Fnatic would love to wait a few more seconds. The Zhonya's almost up for Peke. Great ward clearing here. They're super able to protect these pink ones right now. They got to make sure they're really the objective fight, not the all-around in the middle fight. That's where OMG can really take a hold of this.
It will really depend on how Going can approach this fight and whether or not Rise can land some nice AoE. Additionally, Cool's ultimate, whether or not he can land it onto Reckless, since there is no armor and no QSS on him as of yet. There's one try. Can he get him?
There's the answer for you. Goes right back into the base. Oh, he pulls back the Shadow, but he gets hit. That turret shot did go back to him as well.
But he pulled the entire Fnatic team into the base, and OMG is just taking the Dragon. A 1-for-1 trade that results in a Dragon for OMG is a great move for OMG.
Yeah, Worth is called there by OMG, and they will just back away from that Dragon. Getting another kill onto Cool, and increasing their gold lead to a pretty substantial amount as well at this stage. I mean, got control of things. One thing, though, that we have to say about Fnatic, even playing from behind, they turtled yesterday pretty damn well. And you've still got to go pretty deep to crack the nut.
Going deep indeed. Doesn't seem like Reckless and the team can stave off the pressure. He said, we got to wait for the Quicksilver Sash. Well, OMG is not going to wait.
Hey,
full bore right now.
Cool dove past the second turret for Reckless right there. It was actually kind of, in that moment, Fnatic's entire mentality falling to pieces. we've heard the analyst desk talk about it a fair bit. It's a little bit like the old style of protect the AD carry. Everyone wanted to protect Reckless right there, but they just could not. Cool went too deep. Fnatic did not have protection really built up for that type of assassination. They needed either a knockback or a silence or a stun or something to stop him from comboing Reckless, and they didn't have it. Everyone wanted to try. That's why they tried to peel back to do damage to Zed. It just opened up a massive vulnerability. It was unable to protect Reckless, and it just extended OMG's lead.
Reckless right now trying to keep himself safe with a bit of movement speed. Coming off that phage, the Fury boots built up quite early for him as well. So those hits count and he can get to safety. Let's see where they continue to go off of this one. Peke to still hold the bottom lane because Cool keeps presenting himself.
Oh, San actually getting hit there by the Cocoon, but no real follow-up. And we talk about this whole protect the AD carry here, but no Quicksilver Sash coming out for him. There's no Mikhails to really help him out on that front as well. And Mikhails, as we saw yesterday, funnily enough, can be the difference between your AD carry going down and you losing the game, and you've been able to hold and defend.
Yeah, there's a sneaky heal onto Mikhails as well that could definitely help out if Cool jumps on him. However, the gold just hasn't been there for Yellow Star. So much gold into Pink Wards hasn't been able to quite complete it, and he's not close yet either. So Reckless will kind of have to fend for himself. You can see they're trying to keep Cool away from Reckless. They're actually answering the split push with Peke, which will limit Fnatic's ability to force fights here, because generally Syndra is used as that long-range safe initiator, and they can't do that when they have to answer Cool's split push. This is actually a rare execution of a split push by an LPL team. Normally in the LPL, they'll split push for a little while, but then the other teams are so good at forcing 5v4s, they can't do that. Yeah. Fnatic doesn't have the team to force the 5v4s if they have to answer the split push with their main initiator. And
it can't use Peke the way they want. We saw them take down Samsung Blue with a great pick comp. Ari's fresh, great plays around the map, but if Peke's down here, he can't be scattering the weak Fog of War. They can't be clearing out what they need, and the fights won't come their way.
I wonder if 4 versus 4, OMG, if they get a hook, basically relying here on Dada or even a flash engage from GoGo, and they'll catch someone out of position, whether they'll jump straight on that 4 versus 4 and see what they can do with those 2 mid laners completely out of the fight. For now, though, they're basically jockeying for position around the Baron area. That vision being thrown down and taken away mainly by the supports. Lovely actually getting slowed there. Will be forced to jump out, slowed from the Harpoon. The Cocoon almost landed as well.
Look at Cool, so big already. Has the Banshee's Valence, the top of a stacking rod, and already able to throw in that cooldown with his Glacial Shroud. He is fearless to approach Reckless, as Cool has been. So we'll see OMG kind of hesitating now before they go back into the fray.
And I think we know the reason for that hesitation. That Fog of War toggle just showed us that OMG has lost vision. That siege happened for a long time while they're setting up a split push from Cool, but they didn't really gain anything, and now they have to blindly go in and check vision. They kind of need their team there as well, but they're just surmising that Fnatic has went back to base as well, so they're getting a few wards in, but nowhere near the amount of control they need around Baron buff if they're going to set up a split push.
Another thing we've been seeing teams doing is laying down a lot of wards and then leaving. So all these are now clearable for OMG if they want to get in here.
Well, yes.
They're too scared.
If you're going to put your pink wards down, well, that doesn't seem like OMG are too confident about going for that at this stage. Dada basically left alone on that front, whilst that top lane actually did go down. The minion push picking up a bit of extra gold for Fnatic. We are going to have the Dragon coming up in less than a minute. Cool was already around the area. Cyanide looked to be trying to get in from this one, but not able to do anything. And OMG thought they were going to push down the mid lane. Fnatic did as well. They pinged it and tried to rotate back through the jungle.
And you can see OMG's split push has kind of been called off here. Cool was not able to get an edge onto Peke, except now because Cool returned to the main squadron before Peke did, they can actually get the pink wards in the area and reclaim the Baron that they have the strength to reclaim. As a 5v5 unit, they are much stronger, and it's all about the catches here. Or if Fnatic can just go for a turret, despite being blind on Baron. It's actually a huge risk right now because OMG could be doing Baron. Fnatic pushes mid.
Wow.
They're going to trade here, but...
Very bold.
How much are they going to
Yeah,
trade? It was a really delayed move onto Baron.
Fnatic are pushing straight up that mid lane. Baron is going to go down here for OMG, but they may lose an inhibitor for it. They're going to recall, though. Well, Fnatic have already got the turret. The inhib's going down. That's a trade that Fnatic will probably say, we'll take it.
Watch this flank from OMG, though. Going is behind them. I just don't think the timing syncs up right. Fnatic has a good chance of getting away from this one unscathed.
Very nicely done. Definitely a mistake by OMG to stop the strategy that was keeping Fnatic from getting anything. They switch up one thing, and Fnatic says that's what we needed.
Plus the dragon, that's a fantastic trade in gold as long as Fnatic can avoid a 5v5 fight.
Well, they'll avoid everything because OMG say, you're going dragon, let's do the same to you. We're going to push straight down this mid lane. Inner turret being tanked up here by Going. That one should go down. Fnatic dawdling a little bit there. There were a couple of recalls cancelled. They actually lose their inner. The inner's going to take damage as well.
Reckless is still farming the side lane. It's a 5-man LPL team with Baron. They're willing to die.
This is what we saw with a mistake in the Tristana game. Reckless not being with the team. OMG saying, past the turret we go. Taking down the inhibitor turret. Loveling jumps in to make sure Peke cannot start to stun and clean things up. Reckless is still pushing the bottom lane. They lose the inhibitor, and it looks like they could even have a top to go for as well, but somebody does have to take care of Reckless.
It is a huge investment by Fnatic to be willing to trade inhibitors. That could have been held 5v5, but they're trying for more. They are trying to keep the pressure on OMG here. It's a Rise going back for Reckless. I think he gets one turret for the inhibitor. Do not agree with that call in the slightest, but maybe he gets two. Let's see.
He does. And
does it cost him his life?
Honestly, Fnatic might not be too upset about that. There's a flash in from Going. Reckless himself will flash, will heal, will slow down Going, and slows into a crawl as well. And Reckless looks like he's walking away unscathed from it.
What a crazy set of map movements right there. They trade inhibitors, and now there's a second exposed inhibitor by OMG. When you look at the big picture, Fnatic crushed OMG in that exchange. Even though they were doing exactly the thing that everyone was telling them they shouldn't do and they themselves admitted they were doing wrong. Reckless stayed away from the team. He split pushed a side lane while OMG was grouped up, but this time Fnatic did not get caught. It wasn't the fault of Reckless there. They did not lose the game. They actually gained an advantage off of that.
Definitely Fnatic trying to match wits there, and they said, well, we can do anything, you can do better. Came out on top with another inhibitor turret in the bottom lane. Very much so going to pay off as Baron being down, the map objective free, so they don't have to worry about anything on the top side. Pressure can be really pushed by Fnatic now, wherever they want to go. Still down 4,000 gold, though, throughout this entire game.
Red buff delivery service there for Reckless. He's going to need to carry the team here. So much of his farm, he now has his QSS. Soaz is also about half as CS'd up as the opponent top laner in Going. Kog'Maw has to do a lot of work in these fights.
Fnatic here thinking, where's the logical next move for OMG? Down at the bottom lane by the looks of things. And they would be right on that as well. OMG are moving in. We've got Loveling to the side, and Peke is going to be having horrible flashbacks about this kind of scenario with a Thresh over the side of the wall. Not going to be wanting to get too close.
Just stay away from this turret. I feel like the danger is way too great for the value of this turret. If anyone flanks behind them, OMG still has Baron, and it's effectively a 5v5 in an open area.
They may be able to catch OMG off guard now with the Quicksilver Sash and the Mikhail's being finished. May give Reckless what he needs to get himself in a good position. Like you said, though, Peke, the Nightmares are coming in. We can see him staying quite far behind as he takes care of Cool in the mid lane.
Yeah. I guess OMG is delaying a little bit. Cool actually wants to go back to buy an item. Everyone on OMG is deciding to not push their luck. You can see actually their Baron had worn out, so staying down there would have been ill-advised. And now it's all about ward control around Baron again. Both mid lanes inhibitors will be respawning shortly. And honestly, it's still game on. OMG has a slight edge, but it's later now, and potentially Fnatic has the answer.
And the pressure only grows. Literally going 1-3 in the group of death is a death sentence. It is not going to be the easiest thing to get out of.
well, you're probably not going to get out of it, are you? I mean, we did see EDG sneak through the 3-3 group phase, obviously having to play that tiebreaker game, but I don't know, I just feel like the loser of this one is going to be on such a downer, because they're just going to be feeling absolutely crushed, knowing that this game is so important to them. But we're also at, you know, almost 40 minutes on the clock. Fnatic have got 2 open inhibitors. There's an inhibitor down on Fnatic's side of the map for OMG to push. You make one little mistake, which honestly either of these teams could make at this stage, and you push in and you're probably gonna win.
Just erase up that progress.
It would. They played the entire year, they played the entire group up until these last 10 to 20 minutes of this game could potentially end it for them. They're both 1 and 2 already, so obviously some mistakes were made in the group for these guys. OMG definitely holds the upper hand. Fnatic needs to make a play. They are a playmaking team.
OMG now flexing their muscles, saying we can just walk in here and start getting some pop shots onto the inhibitor. Loveling with the blue buff, able to just continuously throw out that spread of spikes and keep the disengage. But the double bubble goes out. Scat of the week. That's the ultimate onto. That's going to be Loveling, and he goes down. Soaz is overheating. They got to back off here. The miscommunication can really throw this one off, but all of Fnatic pulls back at the same time. Nicely done. Loveling down.
And a hero minion saved Cyanide after that repel. The one guy who'd wandered into the base allowed him to get back in and also made the hook from Dada miss. At that point, it was all about the catch and the exhaust on to Going actually in that fight. Going would have wrecked Fnatic with his 314 CS and near max item build, if not for that exhaust. But even so, it's 1 kill. It kind of resets things. Fnatic was solo from the fight. They're still trapped in their base.
Do this again.
Yeah, it was really just a nice catch. Let's see who gets it first. It was Yellow Star leading the way with the hardest skill shot. And it caught him while he was jumping, so he couldn't jump away once the CC was down. Gives him an easy jump here. And honestly, watch Cyanide go up. That one minion chasing in, he's able to recall too. Dada didn't see that minion, otherwise that's where he would have thrown the hook to. Close one.
The real MVP. Got Baron coming up here, Stun actually coming out. They've hooked in the spider. Cyanide down to less than half HP. They couldn't follow through. That's a good culling coming out from San. Is that going to be enough here to force Fnatic to back away and give OMG a Baron?
So many things could go wrong at this Baron fight, however. The fight squad of OMG wanted to go in. If the equalizers missed, it could mean a whole lot of damage required to win this fight. Zanya's, however, there. Everybody's got their way to dodge ultimates, but they're going to have to dodge this Baron.
So as down at the bottom, he teleports in. That's a pretty critical hook. He still has Zanya's, though, and there's the Mikhails that we talked about. Fnatic does have some options now, but OMG looks strong.
Clearing out some wards, making it safe. It looks like they may try to get a push down here. Will they try to trade this once again? They don't really have vision of OMG. It's going to be Peke forcing this mid lane in quite a bit.
And Yellow Star's going to play a big role here as well, with the fact that he can still heal people up, so they've got a bit more staying power on that Baron area. But it looks like OMG have said, okay, let's just get away from this one. Let's heal that up and go back in afterwards. Cool is there. Fnatic are actually headed down to Dragon, which is not going to be directly spotted out by wards. I think this is a wise choice, sending Reckless alone for that one and keeping the rest of the team in that mid lane so that OMG don't rush over to Baron.
It's a slight amount of catch-up that Fnatic is still playing. These teams had such strong mid-game power spikes, and then because the split push was not effective for OMG, it's kind of propelled this game into the late game. And now that we're here with such pick-heavy teams and honestly not super tanky people on either side, it just becomes an incredibly volatile game. Peke gets the right target, he could burst him down. Likewise, if Going just gets in the right spot in a team, he's going to take everyone on Fnatic to half health and just allow Loveling and Sun to completely take down the team. Also, Baron goes down so quickly because of all the damage, but they're not willing to fully commit because Rumble or Ryze, depending on who starts Baron, can wreak havoc inside the Baron pit. So it just becomes an incredibly cautious and testy game that is more about vision control and rotations than it is about straight up team fighting.
And 2 pings onto the inhibitors here for Fnatic. They're going to try and make OMG walk to the beat of their drum for a second. How will they answer? OMG has a bit of vision of Fnatic moving around, so they know when they need to go back and they know when it's a bluff. They send Going and Dada mid, so they're not have to worry about that middle inhibitor. Looks like the rest of Fnatic will join Peke in the mid lane, all sitting on top of that mid ward, hatching it right now. So OMG could be just planning a flank to come in on this one.
This is where Peke wishes he had that teleport Cassidy just to get in the back of him, kill off a couple of inhibitors, and join in the fight afterwards. Not going to be the case this time around, though. So that's not exactly a building-killing machine either, so we'll see what the move is. So tense here. We can see that both teams very worried about the positional play on Baron and the quick push then up that mid lane to those open inhibs.
And we can actually see in that teams are terrified of recalling because it opens up the Baron vulnerability. They're all sitting on some pretty generous pots of gold right now. Everyone on Fnatic there except for Yellowstar, over 1,000 gold. Almost the same story for OMG. You can say OMG has slightly better efficiency since the last time they shopped, but it's still very scary. There's a catch a bit by GoGoing.
Peke gets hit. That's the ultimate from GoGoing. He is able to get out alive. The shield comes in from the Seraph. He will be safe. Dada gets hit up from a living artillery. Reckless starting to pick up for kills for himself. Did throw down the Quicksilver Sash to stay safe in that one.
That's kind of the only way OMG finds a fight is GoGoing walking into them. Again, it's one kill and on a support though. Let's see if Fnatic can turn any type of benefit off that kill.
This is where decisiveness is really going to play into things. Peke's ultimate's going to be coming up pretty quickly. Quick cooldown on that one. They're going to take this in him. Will they go for the bottom in him?
OMG's flanking from behind.
There is the Cully coming through. Yellowstar down top. There is Lovely coming in. Quick exhaust though will mean that he has to back away. Fnatic get the in him, but now they're in a scenario where they're at half HP and Baron's maybe not even a realistic target. They've got to keep OMG away from that as well.
Very back and forth in these fights. It's only getting more and more tense, and with Fnatic to do this, they are getting the pushes in the lanes. They can work off of these minions that are helping them.
And yeah, this is where the sustain of Yellowstar comes in really handy. They don't really want to go back to base, so they need to be able to sustain up, but at the same time, they need to provide threat so they can stop OMG from going in there. Reckless getting hit by that actually kind of scares OMG, making them think there's more people inside.
Got no vision of it either, so what are they going to do? Actually starting to push down that middle lane. Fnatic sending the low HP members back to heal up so they can come back into this fight. OMG actually have positional advantage here on Fnatic running into that in him. So of course did recall, so he's going to be back at that one. Fnatic should at least be able to try and defend, but also have to be real careful that you don't get hooked.
And there's some Winions on the side of Fnatic as well, maybe taking down a second inhibitor, but Peke is way away from home. Great equalizer.
Equalizer does shut it down. The Zanyas may have been a bit too early on that one. It is, and he goes down in the end. Fast fingers are not going to keep you alive in that case. Soaz could be having a bad day here as well. The bubble staving off a bit of aggression, but another hook to come in. And let's be honest, 147 CS down, he's not going to be able to provide much.
And with two solo laners down for 50 seconds, there is a real danger of losing the entire game. Luckily, OMG doesn't have minions in the base, so at the very least, this is an OMG Baron.
That blue blob hanging out right now on the side of OMG.
Can they get the inhibitor? It's so close. I'd love to look at that inhibitor right now. They're going to get it.
There it is. And the minions doing the work for Fnatic. OMG, though, moving up towards Baron. 3 men that are left alive from Fnatic are going to come across, but they're going to be too late for this one. Baron is already going to go down, and Fnatic just need to back the hell away from that one. Or are they just going to push this mid lane through? Of course, super minions going through in that one. And
this is bold.
Such a crazy game in terms of how the lanes really are set up at this point.
Probably a little too bold if they wanted to harass 5v3. Remember, just a few wrong moves with downed inhibitors on both, but they won't be able to force a 5v5 advantage when they're down 2 inhibitors. I mean, this is one of the only situations you'll ever run into where the team down 2 inhibitors isn't actually in a position to lose the game, but in a position to win the game. It's just going to take some time.
Sure, Fnatic is ready to continue these fights. The Infinity Edge built up onto Reckless. It looked gruesome throughout the mid game, but they were able to stave off enough fights, get the items they need, and now Reckless absolutely in carry form. Peke with a double version of staying alive. Zanya's on top of his Guardian Angels now, and the Void Staff. Pretty much everything completed for him, full build for that Syndra. The plays to be made now, and really, just off on the side.
You can't land them all.
It's like you were saying, Joe, the one mistake is going to mean everything now.
Yeah, and funnily enough, as we say, as we see the Dragon being done by OMG, Fnatic are actually pushing into this top turret, and they're going to take this one as well. So that is another tower going down. And funnily enough, Fnatic have more towers up in the game than OMG.
They've played a fantastic rotational game here, being able to just be where OMG is not and get a quick jump on them. However, I feel like that last one was a little bit risky. It's like an outer turret, and if anyone from OMG would have been able to flank, they could have taken them down. The Fnatic's just going for the classic Fnatic push here, and because Fnatic killed the inhibitor in the bottom lane, or because Fnatic's minions did, they're actually kind of guarded against the bottom lane push, which would be the next logical place for OMG to go. Zed just couldn't push it fast enough by himself, and OMG is having to run to the beat of Fnatic's drum right now.
Whole bunch of question marks going across the map at this point. Where is everyone? Looking at some of the builds. Look at this for Loveling. Not going really for any defense other than the Maw of Malmortius. So he's going to be getting popped in these fights if he's not getting resets right away. And we've seen the fast fingers of Yellowstar thrown down an exhaust immediately. So their kind of fight prowess is just going downhill the longer this game goes. Not for going though. Not for Cool. They're trying to get the split push in and still trying to get that Rise scale up. It's pretty much there at this point though. So they need to make the impact now because Reckless is at the king of carry point with Kog'Maw right now, and he has the Peel squad and Cyanide and Yellowstar to keep him alive.
About to hit 50 minutes into the game as well. It's still a 10k gold lead for OMG, but, well, it could be 10 or 100 very, very soon here because everyone's going to be maximum build. And then it's not going to matter all that much. And you can see the nerves from from both of these teams. You saw the recalls on both sides of the map as they try to outdo each other. Both of them scared that the other team's going to be pushing straight down one of those lanes, trying to fast push for the win or for at least an inhibitor at this point.
And something that suffers greatly in 50-minute games is actually ward control. We haven't gotten to a 50-minute game because all these mid-games have been so explosive, but as soon as people need to get that 6th item, they lose their ability to buy wards, which is why both teams are doing double scrying orb, because they can't rely on vision setup anymore. They need to scout with mini clairvoyances with those double scrying orbs just to hope to find the right fight. It makes the game having a much higher probability of catches.
That's a big ult to be down. Peke not being able to use that in the next fight. They're going to trade back. It's going to be a backing. Cool, though. How fast does Fnatic move on this one? Sand does throw out the culling, and everything is given a bit of breathing.
And you saw, actually, Loveling didn't take a huge amount of damage from that ultimate from Peke. It's because a lot of magic resist has actually been built by OMG. Everyone on their team, aside from Dada777, who has 99 magic resist, has 100 or more magic resist. Now, if you're not factoring in penetration, 100 MR would mean you actually take half damage from magic damage abilities. Obviously, Fnatic has built some Void Staffs and Sorcerer Shoes, so it's a little bit better than that, but the type of damage reduction OMG gains from those things is actually pretty great.
Pushing from OMG down that mid lane, although their AD carry is not home. He's gone and picked himself up the red buff before they start to move in. We've also got 1.5 minutes for the next Baron, which, the way this one's going, you have to feel will be part of the equation in the ending of this game. Fnatic simply just going to push those waves right back at OMG.
If there's a fight that goes wrong here, the game is over. If OMG can catch Peke or Reckless, they probably win. However, for Fnatic, they would need to win an entire team fight to have the time to go back down the other side and take out the inhibitors and Nexus turret just based on the positioning. And because Fnatic has a fairly pick-based team, they're getting 1 or 2 kills and generally not team fights. But I've seen stranger things. This game has been absolutely crazy. 52 minutes in.
52 minutes indeed. 50 seconds left on the Baron, which could mean life or death for these teams here. 11 to 10. That gold lead, 10,000, 11,000 in favor of OMG right now. But Fnatic finding ways to play from behind, making it work for them. Still waiting on Reckless here to do some big moves for the team. We don't even have 18s across the board yet, so they're still looking to get a bit more out of them.
Actually, Cool has moved down towards that bottom lane to try and put a bit of pressure on that front. Fnatic have already pushed up to the halfway point in middle. Cool's going to be recalling, Sand's going to be recalling, which gives Fnatic, at least for now, position on Baron. And and allows them to get some vision down. OMG are just going to come right back at them and do the same, though, surely.
Yeah, Fnatic has a bit of an edge here because they have 2 sight stones, so they can get slightly better vision coverage. They're just going to go for this when they kill it so fast, and they know Zed is actually killing their inhibitor, so game on.
Baron going down quite quick, not going to have much from Ardent Blaze. Baron goes down. How many do they send back? It's going to be cool, doing quite a bit of work. He gets the inhib. Looks like he's going to be forced to back, though, and Fnatic will not look to make any forward moves off of this without the vision of the full team of OMG at this point. Bottom lane could be another inhibitor.
It was actually pretty key that Fnatic didn't recall in the Baron pit and instead ran away as a team. Otherwise, it would have been pretty easy for OMG to just interrupt all their recalls with a culling from San. Therefore, they actually do the opposite of what OMG did earlier. They trade their own inhibitor for a Baron. Such is the cycle of this group.
And honestly, anyone's guess as to who is going to come out on top of this one. There's a dragon at least for OMG. This time Dada actually hit his hook, was able to go sailing over that wall to do the dragon with the rest of his team. Fnatic is still inside of their own base though, just trying to make sure that those waves are pushing in their favor. Actually having to push all 3 lanes here because even top's pushing against them.
You can see how much OMG doesn't like that split push. Like you said, Jat, a little bit of a style change. They have everything they could to start spreading Fnatic thin, but it's always a death ball for them. It might be hurting them a little bit.
And I have to say, Soaz with the death cap is kind of caught up to Ryze in items. Ryze hits 6 items in a cheaper fashion than most mages because of his mana itemization. So Going was very close to capped 15 or 20 minutes ago. He is only slowed down in that sense, and since Soaz was so far behind, even though he still has a slot for wards, with the death cap, packs a monstrous punch on Rumble now.
It's going to be a long fight when this one actually does finally come down with those Guardian Angels starting to pile up. There's a stun from Peke that doesn't quite have the range to catch anyone from OMG. The hook goes wide, almost landing on Cyanide. Almost seems to be the word to use here over and over and over and over again because things so close to landing. There's actually the stun from Peke onto San, and Fnatic starting to move through again. Almost a bubble landed by that pink ward as it was cleared out, and you can see just how scared Fnatic are of making a mistake.
Those hooks, those lockdowns really putting a lot of pressure on the supports right now to hit the Mikhails for the ADs to make sure they're using the Mercurial Scimitars. There is a lot to get yourself out here. It's not just a one and done. Fnatic trying to push in for that though, looking to get the win here. Nobody wanted to go 1 and 3 on this group. Like we said, that would be a death sentence, and they are trying to push for the victory here.
The entire path to their season can be decided on this push. They're getting very close to being pushed off. Every hook could mean the group, depending on how it goes down. Another one falls wide, but they get Dada!
Dada is going to go to half HP, uses the Mikhails there though to get out of that stun lock, and honestly, Cyanide is very low here. Of course, has that regen of both the Baron, has Yellow Star keeping him all topped up as well, and Fnatic gonna step in now towards that inhibitor. Another hook comes wide from Dada, another cocoon goes wide from Cyanide. The inhibitor though going low, so it's actually getting trapped up here. Will use the he's on his there's a cocoon. Dada goes down, reckless on the killing spree. OMG gonna try and push back now. It's 5 versus 4 with the inhib down, bottom inhib open as well.
OMG is just so unable to find a fight. Going can walk in for a rune prison, but the Zhonya's will disengage the stun.
Very close. Mercurial Scimitar coming out of the hands of San. He also uses his heal on that one. It's going to be Deathmark going down, cleared off onto Reckless. He keeps himself quite safe, but the Baron keeping him healthy here. The Guardian Angel still up for Peke, and they pursue on.
Yeah, it's so tense right now. A lot of ultimates down. Peke is incredibly low on mana. Going wants to find this fight, and Fnatic gets both inhibitors.
Honestly, the health bars there are an open invitation really for Going to just dive into the middle and blow them all to pieces, but Fnatic have now backed away. Their inhibitor has respawned, and they're going to walk away having killed 2 of OMG's inhibitors. But again, super, super close on those fights. Yes, they got the kill, but not able to finish this one off. We're tied at 11 apiece in kills, and we're approaching 1 hour.
We're approaching
game, and we're still no closer to finding a winner.
Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, our longest battle was TPA versus Starhorn Royal Club at 56 minutes. We just surpassed that. These guys are definitely taking it to the long haul here. Given the test down to the last drop.
Based on experience, guys, I haven't seen games go much longer than 80 minutes. So in that sense, we are closer to finding out who wins because it's going to be over pretty soon. It depends on just whitewash fights and who can get the catches where. It could really be off of anything. This is actually the second time OMG's, maybe even the third time, I've lost count, that OMG's 2 inhibitors have been cycled. The fact that they've been able to regain presence after losing 2 inhibitors is just ridiculous. And now maybe they can get the middle inhibitor down once again. Fnatic, Reckless, stop killing minions, go back to base.
Oh, I want to see a base race. But it looks like they are going to have to go back way too far up these inhibitor turrets. They're going to lose an inhibitor here. OMG can't really move much off of this. They only had that mid wave, and it's not really a game stopper for them to go to the Nexus turrets. They are waffling quite a bit here. Fnatic making a move.
No one goes back. So as is thinking about going back, but he still has his teleport. They could rush this third inhibitor, actually, because of the delay. Maybe Fnatic is a mastermind of turret killing.
Oh my gosh, they are going to take down the inhibitor. Go comes in there. They managed to catch Peke.
Oh.
They're going to get him down, but the Guardian Angel will bring him back to life. Cyanide has to go up in the air. The Zhonya's from Peke is not going to be enough to keep him alive. Cool, guess what? Lovelin's at the back. His GA goes down. Cyanide's GA goes down. Cyanide dies in the end, and now they've locked up Soaz as well. He will use the Zhonya's. Still the Flame Spinner doing the damage, but going on a rampage. 3 men down for Fnatic with 70 seconds spawn timer.
3 kills. Where does OMG go? Do they try to get the kills, or do they try to finish the game? They have super minions in the mid wave, but super minions are bearing down on their own Nexus turrets. It's a guessing game. How much experience do they have in these situations to know what will happen?
They're not going to be able to do much. Those minions did not get there to call in the mid-minion wave when it spawned, so they're instantly on the Nexus turrets. That is going to go down, and they may be even able to
What
get
a kill
2.
by Reckless.
Oh my
One
gosh.
turret. No one on OMG is back to base yet.
Cool.
Nobody is back to base.
Oh my god, those Nexus turrets, they're going down. The Super Minions might win the game. The recall's coming in from OMG.
Way.
They're trying to stop, they're going through. The Nexus has taken a bit of a beating, but OMG are back onto it.
OMG gets nothing but the gold that they can't spend from that one fight. Instead, they lose an outer turret and the remainder of their base turrets. The only 2 structures for OMG is their top lane inhibitor turret and their Nexus top lane inhibitor. All their turrets are dead.
Peke, why you no Kassadin?
And if you look at these fights, guys, it's Fnatic's actually just sold the GA for Peke here. What's he going to grab? Actually just rebought it.
Well, it's on cooldown right now.
Right.
So he's thinking with his extra gold if he could buy a better item.
Right,
he probably did that to see if he had the gold for a big AP item, but he did not, so he did the undo button.
And if you look at it, that was OMG's Guardian Angels going down first, then Fnatic. So if Fnatic goes into this fight again without the window of those being up for OMG, should be in Fnatic's favor statistically, but by that.
And statistics don't count anymore, I'm afraid. Fnatic starting off the Baron. OMG nowhere near it. This is a Fnatic Baron. 62 minutes in, 61 and a quarter, if we're being really accurate. Goes over to Fnatic. They're still 10k gold behind, but that gold doesn't mean anything either, similar to statistics. Fnatic going back to base to not really spend the money that they don't have for items.
That's the 4th Baron that's gone down in this game. There are some items that people were able to buy. Reckless got rid of his boots. He's actually slower now, but will pack a bit more of a punch damage-wise. Considering all the people that want him dead, I actually don't know if I agree with that decision. However, they need to be able to stand and fight. That's why everyone is actually working on a Guardian Angel. It looks like that's going to be Soaz and Cyanide's next item. But I don't think the game will necessarily come to that. The only down inhibitor on the map right now is actually Fnatic's. And based on their track record of 5v5 fights, this is going to be testy, knowing they're down both Guardian Angels. Once again, the next fight, even though it may not, could decide the entire game.
And you can see how much the players are kind of wondering, what can I buy here? We have sells and rebuys coming from Sand. Cool, sold that Guardian Angel, now has that Banshee's veil. There it is.
That's
and
huge
they're
for
gonna keep going. Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to keep everything they can at the most efficient. They don't have much getting off Yellow Star there. The inhibitor will go down. The calling used for the breathing room. Everybody's gonna back away, but only for a second.
OMG has to do something. If they let Fnatic kill all 3 of their inhibitors,
yeah,
the game is a waiting game. So they gave up that one with almost no opposition. Maybe they're hoping Peke runs low on mana. That's probably not going to happen. They can probably give up a second one without losing the game, but it would be tough. They have to try a little bit harder for a catch.
Yeah, Dada has got to be a big hero, I feel, for OMG. He's received quite a bit of criticism as well in this role. He has to land the hook to get them going. They're going to lose that second inhibitor. Fnatic, I'm sure here, are going to be going for inhibitor number 3 and try and pressure OMG right onto that open next.
I'm surprised Fnatic is still pushing through this area. I'd expect them to loop all the way around the outside and just go for inhibitor number 3. They still have 2 minutes left on this Baron buff, and based on how poorly OMG has defended the first 2 inhibitors, they should just go and get the third one. They're actually going to stop. May as well take a red buff and a Wraith Cam.
Stop indeed. Just like Sky says, oh, we're about to win? Let me take a Wraith Cam.
You don't need it, Reckless. You have 2,000 gold in your inventory and your max items with double elixir. A total waste of time.
Oh, Dada's gone out in the base there with the cocoon. The stun comes in and he flashes away, but he needs to heal pronto. Fnatic are onto that third inhibitor.
And lock of the Iron Solari also keeping it with a bit of HP. We hear Ghostblade going off. That was coming in from Cool, but he's not really able to use anything off of it. Cyanide is seeing if he can get the edge over here with the cocoon. The follow-up coming in from Peke possibly. Peke all elixired up, glowing like a star right now. Everybody is across the board, getting all the stats they can here at the end. And Baron buffing Fnatic is maybe what they need to pressure in for the last push here.
And for Fnatic, both the Guardian Angels have returned for them. This is the fight OMG has to take.
It's going to be Cool going in. Oh my god, he gets reckless. He had no chance to use pretty much anything. And it didn't matter because they did get it on him. Soaz, Peke, very hurt here. Leveling goes in, gets the hit up. He's stunned, but he jumps again. Tries to go for Peke. They've lost now Soaz and Reckless. How will OMG move off of this? Because they still have to guard their base.
We said that OMG needed to put up a fight before inhibitors all go down. And at the very worst case, they'd have to do it before that third inhibitor. San is a god.
And he's getting the kill as well. That gives him the rampage. And if he can stop Peke from recalling, the last man left alive here for Fnatic. OMG
I don't know.
can push. I mean,
they're going to try. They have long death timers, right? They're using Go-Going to hold off one wave of super minions. He can teleport in once he's gotten a little bit of a reprieve, and OMG has a strong push down the mid lane. I wonder, and they have minions behind them. That's the key thing. They could actually end this game with the 3 to 4 people if Sand comes over from that bottom lane and pushes against Peke in the next 20 seconds.
You can see Soaz hands on head, Reckless. A possible 15-second savior to come in here and help Peke out. No Guardian Angel.
The minions are right there.
Peke's is up. They are pushing in for the final one. It took 65 minutes to get onto the Nexus turrets. Both OMG's Nexus turrets are down, but somehow still persevering. Cool, eats a shot, he goes down. That was an execution, but it doesn't matter. The time is still 70 seconds, and somehow Peke, by himself, staves off an entire team.
And again this game, do you think it's going to be over? There's Soaz, it's not Cassidy, but it's Rumble.
Oh my god. TP to the top, he's going to go for the Nexus here as well. Soaz trying to be the hero. The recall's coming in, but Soaz is on it. One goes back, the rest come in.
He's not going to get it.
Down. I don't think he's got the damage here, but the super minions are coming in. I say he's not got the damage for the Nexus. He's down to half HP. He's already used his flash, and he will end up falling down.
Yeah, but they're playing the stop the recall game, and Reckless is on the heels right now.
The recalls.
Living artillery, he's going to stop San, he has to. One of the big damage dealers, Go-Going's going to make it in. Peke's there. Here comes Cyanide as well on the end. They're focused on the Guardian Angel Lasagnas. Can Cyanide slip in as the spike grabs his foot? Will they be able to get it? Peke up from the Guardian Angel. A few more hits. Will this really happen?
No, they didn't get it!
Oh my god! They saved the Nexus! It's Yellowstar trying to get in. Inhibitors are spawning left and right. The top one has still come up, but OMG also stopped their Nexus from going down.
I've never seen a professional game this close down the stretch. Everyone is expecting it's Fnatic. They're going to finish it.
Look at Soaz as well. Oh, so close for Fnatic. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that we're actually witnessing this one. We said that this game was going to be close and it was do or die for both teams. But I did not expect it to be going like this. Got a Baron in a minute, guys. We may end up waiting for that one.
So let's take stock of what is actually alive in this game right now, because it will key in to the next set of advantages. Fnatic lost 1 Nexus turret, which means the next time OMG pushes, it will be easier for them to take it down. They've also lost protection of their second inhibitor turret, so if OMG gains an edge, they can push in a little bit more decisively. However, OMG is still down every single turret on the map, but they were able to get all 3 of their inhibitors alive at the same time. Obviously, their Nexus was 1 hit from death, and they have shown that they can beat Fnatic consistently in team fights. That should give them confidence, especially if they have a Baron buff. But they have to be worried about the back door. Luckily for them, Soaz on Rumble is not the fastest of people who can backdoor things. It's a very slow process on Rumble. With Baron being up in 3 seconds, based on the respawn timers, OMG will get this, and it's about whether Fnatic can get in position for an inhibitor. I don't think they can. OMG, one hit away from defeat, may actually have the upper hand again.
Well, the Baron is going to go to OMG. Fnatic too slow to either push that mid lane through or to get over and challenge for the Baron. And now it's Fnatic who may just well be on the back foot, being one auto attack, one sneeze away from taking down the Nexus and winning the game to keep their hopes alive. Are now up against a Baroned up OMG.
Let's check out the goal.
Got a little bit of gold to spend.
Oh my, 30,000 near on cool. It's 27,200,
Yeah.
27,400. Some amazing gold amounts coming in for this game, and we're over 200,000 gold combined between the teams here. One more minute, and we got a 70-minute game, gentlemen.
And, you know, another hour, we'll have a 2-hour game as well. I don't know when this is going to end.
Thank God.
because the Nexus was one auto attack away.
Now they have 3 inhibitors backed up, and they're on the push.
A down inhibitor on Fnatic, one down Nexus turret, exposed bottom inhibitor, and the confidence of winning multiple team fights in a row. Fnatic is in real trouble right now after being so close, not to mention the emotional toll it is to not actually win after that ridiculous teleport play and Nexus attempt.
We say often, oh, Dada getting stunned up. Are they going to dump on 2? Yellowstar taking a lot, but Dada is down. Reckless gets the kill, but here comes the dive onto Reckless, but he gets away thanks to the use of that Quicksilver Sash. Cyanide going to get his GA pop. Can they follow up from this one? He's going to flash away. Actually will escape, but that bottom inhib's going down.
Reckless flashed away when he put the Bio Arcane Barrage on. That's when he's doing the long-range damage. He has not been able to hit auto attacks in this fight. San over the wall with his flash, is able to get out. Summoners down across the board on both sides. Cool has his up. He could still try for initiation here along with Go going. And Loveling, their flashes are up for big aggression.
You can really see just the massive amount of magic resistance people have built on OMG right there, diminishing the effectiveness of that Fnatic team fight. However, they killed Dada. They have 2 downed inhibitors, so they're trying to trade the inhibitors very quickly before super minions would end up killing their own base, just so they can stall out this game, because if they got into another fight while they're down 2 inhibitors, they may lose. They're trying to use this one death timer of Dada to end it, but OMG isn't going to let it happen.
Oh, the flag from Go going, they're going for Reckless, that box down, shot down here by Lovely. Who's the next target? Soaz is in between them, but they're going for Yellowstar. Second man down, make that 3rd and 4th. Peke will fall. It's an 8 for OMG, and that's going to be the game.
71 minutes in, OMG pulls yet another trigger, and Go going the man of the hour and 10 minutes at this point. 500 CS, 5-0-15, finds the fight. The only way OMG gets fights, and he does it again. Last Nexus turret, game.
Great pressure. OMG's Guardian Angels up, going head first in that fight to the downed Guardian Angels on the side of Fnatic. They sit on those death spawns as their Nexus goes down, and OMG picks up the win over Fnatic.
I'm a little speechless after that game. The emotional toll that these teams just underwent is something else. Because not only was this the closest competitive match I have ever seen with the Nexus going to 1 hit and not falling, and probably about 10 inhibitors dying and respawning
both
the
Nexus
game.
turrets down forever.
But also, the fact that these guys were both 1 and 2 in the group of death, and a loss would most likely mean they don't make it out of groups.
Yeah, right.
A win puts them at 2 and 2, and they are just as alive as anyone to make it into the quarterfinals. Yeah, Peke's face says it all.
They know what this means. Trying to stave off the play they brought to the playoffs, a bit shaky. Were not able to find their footing here on the international stage just yet. They still have more games to go, but it is going to be a hard fought run for them from here on out.
I just don't really know what to add at this point. One auto attack away from winning the game. Look at Reckless.
How many times?
Absolutely crushed by that.
how many times is Fnatic going to watch that VOD over and over again to think if they did one slight thing better, they'd be 2-2 in the group.
And that's the pressure. This is the reality of professional League of Legends.
So true.
So much pressure on these players to come so close to winning the game, yet somehow so far as well. Getting aced and OMG pushing them back. That game gonna go down in history.
Absolutely.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.